So many similar stories out there, but living through it feels different when it's yours. I was with my husband for over 25 years, best friends for some of it, together for 18, married 15, and we have 2 kids. We've had our ups and downs like any couple, but I honestly didn't think I'd be the one to break everything like this. Back in May, he caught on to my friendship with someone I've known for years, an old family friend. I told him we were just friends, and at the time I convinced myself that was mostly true. I knew he was uncomfortable with it, and he told me how it made him feel. I promised I'd stop, but I didn't. Instead, I downplayed it and shifted a lot of the blame onto him and made him question his sanity. It's embarrassing to admit now, but I told myself I wasn't doing anything wrong and that my husband was overreacting. By May, I told him I wanted a divorce. I framed it as needing to be on my own for the first time since I was young. I said it had nothing to do with the other man. Part of me wanted that to be true so badly, but it had everything to do with him. We made elaborate plans to keep our relationship going while also not fully separating from our respective spouses. But not long after, his wife contacted my husband and told him she'd recently found out about us and that they were starting their own divorce process. My husband confronted me again angrily and even called the other man, but both of us insisted we were just friends supporting each other through our marital problems. In reality, we had crossed all boundaries there ever are. We live an hour apart now. I know what it sounds like because I willingly moved far away from my own children and husband to pursue a relationship with another man without disruptions. But it is what it is. The other man has been coming up to see me on weekends, and I've gone down to see him too. It's not the fairy tale I imagined. There's guilt, stress, and a lot of complicated feelings. But I can't pretend there isn't a connection there. Meanwhile, my ex has been taking care of himself and the kids full time. We co-parent from a distance and try to keep things stable for them as much as possible. We have decided our children do not need to know that their mother is shacking up with a man somewhere else. He's told me how much my relationship makes it harder for him to keep things amicable. I hear him, and I know he's hurting, but I also feel stuck between wanting to move forward with my life and knowing that my choices have made that process so much more painful for him. I'm aware that from the outside, it probably looks like I jumped into this new relationship without a thought, and in some ways I did. I justified it to myself because I thought I needed something different, something for me this time. All my married life, I've been taking care of husband and kids and put their needs first while putting my life on the back burner. But I see now that I lied to myself as much as I lied to him. I don't know how to balance wanting to live my own life with not making things worse for my kids or their dad. Right now, all I know is I'm trying to figure out who I am without the marriage. But I'm doing it with the weight of knowing I broke someone who trusted me completely. Update 1. I knew this day might come, but it still feels weird actually living it. When I first left my marriage roughly 2.5 months ago, I told myself it wasn't about him, the AP, that I just needed space, freedom, and to figure out who I was without my husband, because we had been attached at hips for 2 decades. But then instead of doing that, I dove straight into seeing AP every weekend, texting constantly, and letting myself get swept up in something exciting. Damn, we had such a blast. The physical side was unlike anything I'd ever had before. Intense, adventurous, like we were both making up for years of boredom. We checked things off each other's sexual wish lists. I told myself that was part of my self-discovery, but I know now it was also pure escapism. The problem is, reality always catches up eventually. Lately, things feel different. He started pulling back. Not dramatically, but I feel it. Texts come slower. Weekends aren't as automatic. He's met someone new who's actually single, and I think he's testing what a more traditional relationship might look like. He swears it doesn't change how he feels about me, but I'm not naive. This is what happens when you're the one who left everything behind while the other person kept their options open. I'm trying not to panic or get bitter, but it's hard not to feel disposable, like I blew up my marriage and family for something that might not even last the year. Imagine going crawling back to the same marriage you told everyone was the worst thing to happen to you, so soon after you left it. I'm still posting stuff about freedom on Facebook just to keep up the facade. But for how long? How long? I keep telling myself this is fine, that I wanted independence and not to be tied down. But if I'm being honest, the thought of losing him entirely scares me more than I want to admit. I don't want to go back to my old life, but if I don't have him, I don't have a new life. Be safe out there, girls. This kind of high comes with a hell of a crash. Final update. When I first left, I was sure I'd never go back. Not to that shitty, boring marriage, I had thought. Then the things with the AP started to shift, and a month ago, he cut all contact off with me. When that happened, all I could think about was my old life, the stability, the warmth, the children I left behind. I had taken a step back from co-parenting for 3 weeks, just to put all my focus and energy on my new relationship. So I wasn't in contact with my old family at the time, but I reached out to my husband, now soon to be ex, because I had no one else. He didn't sound surprised when I broke down and told him it hadn't worked. He didn't even seem angry anymore. I told him I missed him, I missed our children, I missed home, and I wanted to come back. He was silent for a minute and told him, no, I won't be coming home. Never again. He said he had already hired a lawyer and he'll mail me the divorce papers when they're ready. He said there was nothing to talk about anymore. He apparently waited for the first 2 months for me to come around, but now he's made up his mind. The kids hate me, especially my son. He's angry and rarely wants to call. I'm on the outside now. I tell myself it will pass when they see things from my POV, but deep down I know they've built their lives without me at the center. They don't need me anymore. My therapist says I've been in the freeze stage for a long time, avoiding, deflecting, just surviving the fallout. Now that I'm unfrozen, I feel this sudden, desperate urge to fight for something, anything. I keep replaying the past years in my head, even drafting pages of what I'd say to defend myself against their cold, harsh judgments, against the idea that I was only selfish and reckless. For over 20 years, I told myself my unhappiness was just depression. After the affair, I convinced myself it was because I'd been emotionally neglected. But none of those justifications matter now. The bridge is burned. The life I had is gone. I used to think my biggest fear was losing him. Now I know it's living with the fact that he and the kids don't want me back. I could knock on that door tomorrow and it would stay closed. It's quiet here now, too quiet, and I'm finally starting to understand what consequences really means.